Aid organisations are preparing to deliver food and medical supplies to Syrian civilians during a pause in the country's conflict. Aleppo's front lines are quiet, with a cessation of hostilities between warring parties now into its second day. The UN says almost 500,000 people are in areas under siege and in desperate need of help. Now, despite reports that the truce is holding up, 6 towns in Aleppo province have reportedly been hit by airstrikes. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says bombing in residential areas has killed 1 civilian and injured others. Opposition activists say this footage shows the aftermath of the strikes. TRT World's Annalise Borges has more from the Turkish-Syrian border.
This is the second day of the cessation of hostilities in Syria, and although there are doubts on whether this truce will hold, humanitarian aid agencies have been saying that they would take advantage of whatever ceasefire to reach more of those besieged Syrians. The UN estimates as many as 500,000 people are trapped in conflict areas, and the UN had negotiated a deal with the Syrian regime and delivered food supplies to as many as 100,000 people last week. So now the World Food Programme says that the focus would be to deliver other life-saving supplies and medicine to 17 besieged areas in the next hours and days. Meanwhile, the situation on the ground in Syria is said to be largely calm, although there are reports of airstrikes in the northwestern part of Aleppo. Opposition activists and the Syrian regime have been accusing each other of violating this truce, and the international task force set up to monitor the conflict has said that despite incidents that were diffused, the first day of this truce had been largely successful, and they are, of course, inviting, both of the co-chairs of this international task force are inviting whoever has information about any breaches of this truce to communicate those details to US and Russian officials, even through social media. A hotline is said to be open, and both countries are said to be monitoring closely the situation on the ground in Syria.